And I don't know why more people are not talking about this, but this is honestly one of the biggest things that drew me personally to Real Broker, my business and myself. Like I said, Real's not going to be for everyone, but it was for me. And this was one of the reasons I knew. Joining Real Broker has been one of the best moves I've made for my business in a very long time. And there are just so many things that I am grateful for about Real Broker and reasons I'm grateful that I switched there. However, it is not for everyone. And today I'm going to be sharing not only the pros, but I'm also going to be sharing some of the cons about joining Real Broker. So if you are someone who's in the process of getting your real estate license, not sure where to hang it, if you're considering switching real estate brokerages, you're already at another brokerage, or if you're just curious, you are not going to want to miss anything today. Also, the very last point that I'm going to be sharing, the very last pro/con, is something that nobody's really talking about, but it is a really, 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 really big deal. Before we get into it, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Mariah. I've been a real estate agent since 2015. A couple years after getting licensed, my husband quit his job and joined me, and we've been a husband and wife real estate team ever since. We love it so much. And I come on here every week with new videos talking about all things real estate related. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Let's jump right in with the first one, which is a con. And that is, you are not going to be walking into an office and having conversations with real estate agents at your office. And let me just explain, I'll paint a little bit of a picture and share my experience a little bit with this. Real Broker is a cloud-based real estate brokerage. There is not going to be a physical office building for you to go work from, meaning, I know for me, when I first got my real estate license, actually my entire real estate career up until I switched to Real Broker this past almost a year ago now, I was with the same real estate company, a big like brick and mortar franchise style real estate brokerage. Okay, there were a lot of agents at this office. Anytime you go to the office, there's other agents there. I had my own private office room, and I would always shut the door. When I was working, I would always get there, get right to my room and shut the door. And here's why. If you've ever taken the DISC personality test, I've taken it a couple different times, and each time it comes out the same. I am a very high D, very high I, very low S and C, meaning I really like to talk to people. I am very social. I love being around other people. However, when I am working, I am focused. I'm in the zone. I am don't talk to me. Let me just get what I'm doing done, and then I can talk after. But that is very much like that. That's the D side of it, the driver, doer, whatever. The D part of the personality is that when I'm working, I'm not here to socialize. So for me, I actually really always just saw, although I enjoy talking to people and I'm a social person, I always just saw agents while I'm at the office just talking to people. It's kind of just a distraction. I'm here to get my work done and get out of here. Especially after becoming a mom, if I have childcare for my kid, I'm not trying to just sit by the water cooler and chat. I'm here to make my money and dip. So if you're like me, then you will see this as a positive thing. But this could be a con for you as well. If you like to just sit around the office all day and chit chat, this could be a con for you. But that is something to keep in mind. You're not going to have a physical office building. Point number 2 is a con. You are not going to have your principal broker down the hall to just go walk into their room and chat with them or ask them questions. Now, something to keep in mind is that one, I've mentioned this in another video I talked about recently, so I won't go too into it, but I really believe that principal brokers who are just sitting at the office all day waiting for their agents to ask them questions, that is a dying breed. I think that if you have that situation, it's probably really rare. I think 2020 changed the way that real estate offices are run in general, and I'm seeing a lot of offices not going back to how things were before. So it's very unlikely that you're even going to have that situation where your principal broker is actually literally just sitting in their office all day waiting for agents to answer or to ask them questions. However, it can be nice to have a principal broker that's there in person that you can go to run things by. At Real Broker, you're not going to get that experience. Every state has their own principal broker. I'm pretty sure some states have more than one. I know our state, I'm in Oregon, and we just gained another principal broker, a backup person. You do have your principal broker who is there for you to ask absolutely any questions that come up, contract-wise, whatever. And I know for me, I have reached out to our principal broker here in Oregon a handful of times, and I have had such great experiences. He is so responsive. He is extremely helpful, and I've always gotten my questions answered. And for me, it's never been an issue at all not having them in person. But again, everyone's different. That could be a con for you. Number 3 is a pro, and that is there is an extremely low cap and an extremely desirable commission split here at Real Broker, as well as no monthly fees. Like there are no monthly fees at this brokerage. So those are things that are desirable. I actually did an entire video where I broke down what the cap, the splits, the fees, everything you need to know about like that side of things at Real Broker. Head over to my channel and find it after you watch this video. Actually, I have an entire playlist sharing everything you need to know about joining Real Broker. So after you watch this video, go find that playlist over on my channel, or I'll put a link in the description below. This next one is a con, and that is there is no office space for you to meet your clients at. So I know a lot of brokerages, like if you're with a smaller boutique style brokerage, you might not have this anyway, but I know my previous brokerage, like I said, it was a big franchise brokerage. We did have nice looking, pretty office rooms that we were able to use, rent or whatever, reserve for free to meet with our clients at. And I would do this a lot more often back before I started working with relocation clients, which I work with a lot now. I would do this a lot more like back in the day. But I think that 2020, like I said earlier, it has changed a lot. And I have really never stopped using Zoom. I mainly use Zoom because a lot of my clients, more of my clients than not, are actually out of state and they're not here in person anyway. However, when I do get a client that's in person, I generally am going to be meeting with them over Zoom anyway, just because it makes so much more sense the way my life is, being a stay-at-home mom while running a business. If I have the opportunity to do it from an office room at my house and just shut the door and get it done and then be done with it. Like it makes so much more sense for me to do that than to drive across town to the office, drive back. Like it just doesn't make sense. Although I would say 95% of the time I'm meeting with clients over Zoom, not in person, there is that small percentage of the time where my clients will want to meet in person. And I was a little nervous, to be honest, when I first joined Real about what am I going to do when that happens? Do I just say like, meet me at Starbucks? Is that unprofessional or no? Like I've done that before with clients and nobody seemed to mind meeting at Starbucks, but I was just a little nervous about that. One thing that I discovered when I joined Real was that your title company, like your local title companies, locally, wherever you're at, they allow you to use for free. They have like these meeting rooms that you're able to call them ahead of time, reserve, and use for free, which I've never taken advantage of that, but that is an option and it's definitely in the back of my mind if I'm ever in that position where I need it. Another thing is there is a coffee shop where I'm at here in my town locally where I sell real estate, and they do have rooms. They have like conference rooms upstairs above their coffee shop where you are allowed to reserve these rooms for free. And to me, it's a little bit more, professional than just meeting at a Starbucks because you do have your own private room. No one else is there. Like it's a little more private. They're talking about their finances. Like it's not something that they're just talking about with someone else at the coffee shop, like sitting right next to them. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, so there are options. However, that is something to keep in mind. It could be a con for you if you're used to meeting with clients at your office all the time. My next point is a pro, and that is you can earn free stock at Real Broker. This is how they reward their agents. By the way, their stock is doing fabulous. One thing I love about this is that instead of getting a trophy or a paper, they love in the real estate world, they love to reward us with these like certificates, trophies, whatever. And I remember, sitting at office meetings with my husband and we would get an award and it would just be this like paper and whatever. And that was great. But at Real Broker, they don't do that. When you reach certain milestones in your business, they don't reward you with a paper reward or a trophy. They reward you with free stock in their company, which I would way rather have free stock than a piece of paper that I'm going to throw away. The next con is that Real isn't all that like well known yet, I guess you could say. A lot of people still don't know about it. While it is the fastest growing real estate brokerage, and I completely understand why, because if you look at everything, like the way that the company is ran, and it just makes sense to move there. So I totally get why it's the fastest running real estate brokerage. It is still not super well known by every single consumer. Initially, my husband and I were a little bit hesitant about, or just like curious about how it would play out before we switched, because we had always been, like I said, with a big franchise brokerage. And when you're with a big franchise brokerage, they're going to tell you that you need their brand. People are going to want to work with you because you have this big, strong brand that they recognize behind you, which, by the way, is not true. It's definitely a lie that you can buy into, though, very easily, especially if you're a younger agent, because you're like, I'm young. Why would they trust me? I need this big brand behind me because they can trust my brand or whatever. But that's not true. I can say from my experience at Real, almost a year now, not one of my husband and I's clients have noticed that we switched or even like asked or cared what brokerage we are with. In 2024, real estate agents are a lot more focused on building their own personal brand than writing on their big franchise real estate company's brand, as they should be. The next pro is that there are other real estate brokerages that have revenue share programs, and they've been around for a while. However, Real Broker does have the most generous revenue share program out of any of these other brokerages that offer this. Okay, guys, are you ready? This is the last one. This is the one that you don't want to miss. That is, I don't know why more people are not talking about this, but this is honestly one of the biggest things that drew me personally to Real Broker, my business and myself. Like I said, Real's not going to be for everyone, but it was for me. And this was one of the reasons I knew. Real Broker has the best video marketing training in the entire real estate industry. And I don't say that lightly. Let me just give you an example. I was at a Tom Ferry event last week. It was all about marketing. Throughout the day, they gave a handful of examples of agents, because they're showing us like these agents are killing it and this is what they're doing in their marketing and this is how they're getting their business. And literally almost all of the agents that they showed, that they gave as examples of basically the agents who are using video marketing at the highest level out of anyone in our country, US and Canada, in the entire real estate industry. The examples that they gave were all at Real Broker. Almost 100% of them were at Real Broker. And the cool thing is that the way that Real Broker's training is where these very agents that are the agents using video marketing at the highest level possible in the real estate industry out of like any of the other agents in the industry in our country. Wow, I just explained that in a really jumbled way. But anyway, I'm trying to get my point across here. These very agents who are using video marketing at the highest level are the ones that are teaching the training at Real Brokerage on a consistent, ongoing basis. It's not like a new agent only training, like you can tune into this forever. And they're the ones showing us exactly what they're doing. Why wouldn't you want to learn from the very best if that's what you're wanting to do, is video marketing? I check out the Workplace Real Academy quite frequently, and there are a lot of trainings consistently throughout the week. They're not all on video marketing. So if you're like, I would never get on video, that's not how I plan to run my business, then there's plenty of training for whatever else it is that you're wanting to do to get business. And there's so many ways. However, if you are wanting to do video marketing, or honestly, social media marketing, forget the video, just in general, you got to be at Real Broker. I do Zoom calls quite often with real estate agents all over the country who are considering joining Real Broker, and I love it so much. If that's you, if you're in that position, you're just wanting to chat about it, get your questions answered, and just see if Real's maybe a good fit for you or not, I would love to talk to you. I will put my contact information below. Shoot me an email and let's get a Zoom call set up. If you grab value from this video, please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and we will see you guys next week.